Hey everybody, it's Pastor Jason at Riverside Church, and I hope you just give me a couple of minutes of your time. Just want to share a couple thoughts with you today that hopefully will bless you, encourage you, maybe provoke you, maybe convict you. I'm not really sure how it'll come across, but I think this will encourage you. I think it'll bless you. One of the coolest stories in the entirety of the Bible is about a man named Samson. I know a lot of you probably are familiar with the story of Samson. He was the strong man of the Bible. Killed Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey. Carried the city gates on his back, on his shoulders, and just phenomenal feats of strength were exhibited in the life of Samson. And we talk about those things. We make movies about those things. We preach about those things. But there's a part of Samson's life that doesn't get a lot of press, doesn't get a lot of conversation, doesn't get a lot of light shined on it. And it was what happened before Samson ended up slaying Philistines with donkey bones and carrying gates and knocking down pillars and killing Philistines at the end of his life. Did you know that before Samson ever met Delilah, that Samson was actually married? Yeah, he was married. And he was the Bible talks about it in Judges chapter 15 that he was going to go to his wife, and he was going to go into the bridal chamber, and he was going to be with his wife, and they were going to consummate their marriage. And when he shows up to go in to consummate the marriage, the woman's father greeted him at the entrance and said, "Whoa, what are you doing? I thought you hated this girl. I thought you hated my daughter. And so I gave her to your friend. I gave her to your best man. And he went in and consummated. And so now she's really married to him now." And man, this jacked with Samson. This ticked him off and made him mad. And he said, "You know what? Because of that, and he was so angry and so hurt and so frustrated. He said he was ready to release his rage and anger. He had to release it on somebody. So he said, "This time I'm going to make the Philistines really suffer." And I was like, wait a minute. You're going after the Philistines, and it was your father-in-law that gave your wife to your best man. But anyway, he said, "I'm going after her. I'm going after these Philistines rather, and I'm just going to make them pay for this." Here's the thought I had behind that. Do you know that hurt people end up hurting people? Hurt people hurt people. It happens all the time. Samson arrived at this place because his father-in-law did something that it's a critical thing. It's a critical mistake that you and I often make sometimes. You know what he did? He refused to interrogate the reality of the situation concerning Samson and his new wife. And he made this presumption. "I thought you hated her. I didn't think you were coming to consummate the marriage with her. I thought you didn't want to be with her." And he had these presumptions. He created this reality in his life. He created this reality in his mind. Reality in his mind looked like Samson didn't want to be with his daughter, so he did what he thought he should do. And I want her married, so give her to his best man, which caused Samson to react and behave in a way that caused him to go out and wreak havoc on the Philistines. And it was all because he just refused to interrogate reality. If he took the time to have a conversation with Samson and say, "Hey, what's going on with you guys?" this whole thing could have been avoided. Samson's hurt could have been avoided. Instead, Samson ended up hurting, and he ended up going out and hurting other people. I wonder how many times that happens to us. How many times have you been hurt? How many times have you been wounded? How many times have you made this presumption about something somebody thought or something somebody said, and instead of going to them and interrogating reality, you just created this reality in your own world that they must mend it this way. They believe this about me. They said this about me. And there's no type of interrogating reality whatsoever, which causes you to fly off into a blind rage or an anger, or you hang on to bitterness, you hang on to unforgiveness towards those individuals because you never took the time to sit down with them and have a face-to-face and interrogate the reality of that situation. Because we refuse to do that, because we don't seem to have the courage or the boldness to do that, what ends up happening many times is we just end up hurting. And then we end up hurting other people. And those people go out and they hurt other people. It's the proverbial lion that has the thorn in its paw. It's growling and roaring and looking to bite everybody's head off that comes by until I think it was a little mouse or something that came along and pulled the thorn out, and now he's in a better mood. He's in a great mood now because he's not dealing with that pain and that hurt anymore. I think some of us deal with a lot of hurt and a lot of pain unnecessarily because we don't really take the time to interrogate the reality of a situation. We let conversations that are said or presumptions that we made, we form realities in our head that aren't necessarily true. I've heard it say like this: perception is reality, but it doesn't mean that it's true. I like to use that all the time because that's true. Perception is reality. Doesn't mean it's true. Your perception of a situation may be a certain kind of way, but it may be your reality, but it may not be the true reality. And the only way you find that out is interrogate reality by sitting down with the person that you're in conflict with, or sitting down with the person that you've got an issue with. Resolve it. A lot of relationships can be saved if we just take a moment to interrogate reality. So I want to bless you with that, and I'm going to let you go and have a good rest of the day. Do me a favor, like, share, follow, but more than important, share this with somebody. Share this on your page. I think there's some people out there that probably need to hear this. I think there's some people that need to understand that, you know what, I don't need this relationship to go sideways. I'm going to sit down with them and just talk about it, and we can work this out. I bless you with that. I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. This is Pastor Jason of Riverside Church. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'll see you real soon. God bless you guys.